Duncan Jones. He'll speak for himself later. First, though, Danish director Lars von Trier, whose latest film, Antichrist, makes an appearance in cinemas next weekend. In May, Antichrist was the scandal of the Cannes Festival, where it was derided and praised by turns, with critics booing von Trier for daring to dedicate the film to the great Russian director Tarkovsky, while the Cannes jury awarded the Best Actress prize to Charlotte Gainsbourg. In the film, she plays one half of a bereaved couple who retreat to their cabin in the woods following the death of their son. Her husband, played by Willem Dafoe as an ultra-rational psychotherapist, persists in treating his wife's grief as normal. Her behaviour, in turn, becomes truly extraordinary, seemingly driven by a sinister animism within the forest itself. It all turns very nasty, with wild animals, supernatural effects, and gruesome mutilations. Von Trier doesn't spare the viewer, so in an attempt to find out why, I spoke to him. If you're easily offended, you might want to turn off and do something else for the next 7 minutes. We started with his statement in Cannes that this was his most important film. Why?
It was a very helpful tool to get me out of the depression I had. It kind of reminds me of things that happened in my youth. But these are very private, so it's a little difficult to explain. It's a film that it was a little difficult to like for me, but now I like it very much. And yes, I think it's important.
Now, you could be said to be telling in your films the same story every time, in that there's a vulnerable woman who is manipulated or possibly even tortured to some extent by a man who appears to be passive. What so fascinates you about that situation?
I don't know if it fascinates me. I don't know. The story of an idealist who sets out into the world and creates a lot of mistakes and disaster around him, for some reason, felt familiar with. And the poor woman that is, I don't know why I like them and why they are there, but I can only see that they are there all the time.
We've seen elements of torture, mental torture before, and in this case it's very graphic because it's a horror genre. Why did you have to make it quite so graphic, the violence?
For me, though, it was never a question if it had to be graphic, the love and the violence. I don't see any reason not to show anything. But that's not in my character, and I believe whatever can be thought can be showed also. But that is because I don't have an audience in mind.
But you do have the audience in mind, because you're obviously trying to provoke and shock.
Come on. What are you saying? You don't know anything about that.
Yeah, but what is the point?
Come on.
But what is the point of that?
It's ridiculous.
Well, is it ridiculous? Because...
Yes, I think it's ridiculous. You don't know what I'm doing or what you have no idea.
Okay, but the point is that after a while, we know that this thing is not happening for real. We know that this is just a depiction of it. We know that those genitals are prosthetics. So
and who are we?
We are the audience. So why?
You are the audience.
I am the...
Thank you very much. That's very nice to know.
I'm one of your many audience. But I would say that actually after a while, you could suggest these things. You don't actually have to show them.
Yes, but I had to show them. Why should I suggest anything when I can show it? That's ridiculous. Why shouldn't I? If I wanted to show a cow and was not proud of how a cow looked, that I should show a horse instead. That would be ridiculous.
Now look, the film appears to be at one level an indictment of a kind of therapy culture, of a therapist who takes his methods to extremes. But I wonder, is making this film a kind of therapy for you?
Yes, very much so. I don't think so much, the content of the film, but just the practical work every day was a help to me. I don't know if you know about depressions, but they take a long time to get out of, and the cure is to work or do something instead of lying in bed crying. I'm not working, so to say, for an audience. I know you're saying that I am, but I don't believe so. I believe that I have this film that I just want to get out of my system, and then I do it a specific way. I will argue, that I'm working for an audience.
So you would be quite happy if this film wasn't shown to anybody, if it wasn't distributed?
Yeah, but then the problem would be that it would be very difficult to have money for my next piece of masturbation.
Quite. Now, this is a horror film, so you have this idea of a medieval superstition that comes into the whole perception of the woman. As we said, women are previously vulnerable, but they nearly always find a kind of strength in your films. Here, it's allied to a whole idea of women as potentially being witches or in some way evil. I mean, I wonder what your attitude towards that and towards women in general is.
Well, I believe that all the burning of witches was justified. No, come on. I do films to kind of shock myself if I want to shock anybody. So I have my best time with women.
The thing that I found most shocking about the film was actually not any of the graphic violence later on, or even the part when they went to the woods. The thing that I found most distasteful, and if you like, pornographic, was actually the opening of the film, which is very, very beautiful.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Oh, you do? Oh, good.
Yes.
It's the very, very slow images, beautiful music, and the juxtaposition of the couple making love and a child walking to its death, effectively.
Yeah. I would say that's also the part of the film that I'm least proud of.
So you didn't do that, then, to provoke people like me as an exercise?
Not people like you. No, I maybe did that for a selfish reason to kind of have any chance to sell any tickets so I could get money from a next film. Yes, I am guilty of that.
Well, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, I am. If it had not been a telephone interview, could you spank me, please?
No, that's too easy.
Well.
And what did you feel about the reaction that the film got at Cannes?
You know, it came as a little bit as a surprise for me, but it's great. You know, I like a film that there are some people who likes it and some who hates it. That's the film that I like had the same effect on people, so that's fine with me. It becomes a little personal when people like you are kind of saying what I'm doing, and that I should justify myself. You didn't say that, but some journalists said that I should justify myself, and that's not the case. You know, if you make a film, why should I justify myself? You can discuss the film and anything, but justify myself is nonsense. You know, even the worst thing that could happen is that you wasted your time seeing the film, but I'm not responsible for that.
Lars von Trier and Antichrist is in cinemas on the 24th, Certificate 18.